Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be True Love is Willing to Let Go When They Want to Leave. So today I've got a nice success story. This is actually the third email that I've answered from this guy in the series. And so if you remember from the last video, from those of you who are regular watchers, the last video was called Purpose, Love, and Regret, and it was a couple months back. So this particular guy, I think he's in the finance industry. His girlfriend is also very successful, has a great career. Just got I think it was a promotion, the kind of thing that she'd been working for years. And so he lives in the States, she lives in Canada, and he didn't want to live in Canada because what they had talked about last time was him potentially living there because he can work anywhere he wants to, but he doesn't want to live there, and he has no desire to. Doesn't like the area, doesn't like the town, the people. He's like me. He's more conservative, and so they ended up breaking up, and he was obviously pretty upset about it because they've been dating pretty years. She's like, "You're the best relationship I ever had, best boyfriend I ever had," and he asked me what to do. Purpose, Love, and Regret, that email, and I told him what a man needs to do. No matter what, he's got to follow his purpose, he's got to follow his heart, and he's not going to submit to a woman and move to her city just so she can keep her career and make himself miserable. I've done quite a few video newsletters over the years with guys that did exactly that. They moved. I remember one guy I did a phone session with, and he had moved from another country to where this particular woman lived. I think it was actually the United States. This was, I think, last year. This particular guy comes to mind. Literally moved from Europe to the United States after dating for, I don't know, I think a year or two. And literally within 2 weeks of him getting here, she dumps him. And so now he's living in a country that he moved to, not because necessarily he wanted to live here, but because of the girlfriend. And then she dumps him. They both worked at the same company. He waited, he put his time in, got a transfer, got moved over, and then she dumps him. And so she was the only person that he knew here. And so you can imagine that really sucks. And that's part of the problem when a guy does something to submit to or to please a woman and it's not what he really wants. He's not congruent with it, but he does it anyways because he thinks that's going to make her happy. And she dumps him. She literally waits until he gets here and then doesn't really even want to spend any time with him. And granted, he had made a few mistakes, but that's just cold. And so here you got a situation where a guy's faced with the same kind of dilemma. And he didn't want to live in Canada, and he knew saying no to that, and since she just got a great opportunity in her career, that it potentially really would be the end of this great relationship that they've had. So now we get an update of what's happened a few months later. Remember, the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. And as a man's got to follow his purpose and mission. And a woman will follow him as long as he makes her feel safe and comfortable, as long as he takes care of the things he's supposed to take care of as a man. She will trust his leadership and follow him anywhere, provided she's in love with him, like I talk about in 3% Man, the interest level table, which is the chapter, it's all in the numbers, where I go through and a woman on a scale is 0 to 5, this is what she does, says. 5 to 6, this is what she does and says. Obviously 9 to 10 is the kind of things that she does when she's in love. And this woman was definitely in love with this guy, as you will see shortly. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through his email. Because you can imagine, this is not a pleasant thing. I think 2-3 years they were together, and now you're thinking, because of your career, because of your mission, good chance you're going to lose your woman. That's not a fun thing. And then the radio silence and the time apart, that's a horrible thing to go through. But it's great because it brings clarity to all hearts involved. So the quote says, "A man must always follow his purpose and mission and passion in life because that is the embodiment of masculine energy. He must never give up his purpose for a woman or relationship because a man must fulfill his destiny or forever live a life of regret. A woman who truly loves, trusts, and feels safe with her man will follow him anywhere. The true test of her love and his leadership is his willingness to lose it all to complete his mission in life. The right woman will choose to be his teammate and greatest cheerleader. The wrong woman will let him go because she was never really his anyway." So let's go through his email. He says, "Hello, my original 3% man, the bald wizard, the teacher of boys and men." The bald wizard, huh? How about the shaved-headed bastard wizard? "Here is the third and final email of my love life after learning the ways of the 3% man. If you don't recall the first email that I sent off, it was titled Finding Love Again After a Bad Breakup," which I think that might have been a couple of years back. But my assistant in the article, she'll put links to those. So if you're watching this on my website, understandingrelationships.com, then you can go check those out. Or if you're on YouTube, you can just look them up. So the second email, this was the most recent, I think it was about 2-3 months ago that this one came out. It's called Purpose, Love, and Regret. He says, "This will be my last newsletter to all your viewers who want a fulfilled, loving relationship. Coming from a guy who lost everything and didn't know anything about maintaining a relationship properly. Here is my last installment of my progress in being the best man I can be in this life." So he's graduating. He's graduating to the club of the 3% man. Should have had my mug here with me. He says, "As I said in my last email, she did come over for a month and a half. Because what they would do is they would travel, and I think she had like a month and a half before her new job was starting. So she got some time off. So they spent a lot of quality time together. He said, "We had an amazing time being with each other and making memories, traveling all over the states, and doing the deed in every hotel. We even went to Florida." The free state of Florida, you mean? Where Heavy D is the governor. One of freedom's final stands in the United States. Will we go full communist? Or will we stay a free nation? It's not passed on. You have to fight for it. I have to say, downtown Orlando is pretty dull. Yeah, there's lots of homeless people. It smells like piss everywhere. It ain't like it used to be when I moved up to Orlando 25 years ago." He says, "But Miami South Beach was fun." Well, South Beach is getting pretty ratchet as well. The building that I used to live in, really nice high-end luxury building down there in South Beach, there was a shooting at a restaurant and several of the bullets hit the building. Obviously, some of my former billionaire neighbors don't like their building getting shot up. Especially the Endless Brunch drag show had a blast. I get why you lived in South Beach. So much booty everywhere. Even my girl was impressed. When she came to the States, we had to talk about the moving situation again. If I could move to Canada. So if you remember, that was the big thing we were discussing in the last video. Purpose, Love, and Regret, I think it was titled. He's, "I told her in the most respectful way that I just would not be happy if I moved there." That's his truth. You got to live and speak your truth. He says, "This time she changed her mind about moving to the States and said that she could not leave her purpose for me." The strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. So this is kind of the moment where she basically says, I'm not going to give up my career, because he could live anywhere. He just didn't want to, for his new job in the finance industry, he could live anywhere, but he didn't want to live in Canada, and he didn't want to move there just to please her, because he'd be unhappy. He said, "She told me she has a great career in Toronto, her family and friends are there, and that is the place that she wants to live. I could tell the conversation was getting too serious and made a joke, and she just gave me this look." Yeah, probably not the appropriate time to make a joke about something like this. He says, "Big mistake, I joked one too many times." of a serious topic that was worrying her. There's a time and a place for humor. To her credit, she let it go and we continued on with our trip, but this would come to haunt me in the end. In regards to her personality, she's very career-oriented, a modern-day woman, but has feminine qualities of being submissive and an overall great lady. But being from Toronto, the feminist movement is strong over there, so her friends convinced her that I should be the one to leave my career to start a new relationship with her and support her. No. Maybe soy boys would do that, but not a man. So I am assuming over time she was convinced otherwise, not to move for me and to continue with her original plans previous to dating me. Well, attraction and interest level cuts through everything. After the travel, she went back to Toronto, and I started work in finance in Louisiana, also known as Louisiana, as the good old boys from the South refer to it. Louisiana. I had a guy I worked for in the construction, and she's big, burly dude. He's like, Louisiana. We were doing Harris Casino at the time. This is going back 25 years ago. She called me in regards to the same topic, and I adamantly told her that I loved her and I wanted us to continue the relationship, but I was not going to move to Canada. So remember, she's trying to see if he'll cave. Even saying, I'm not giving up my career for you. He's like, babe, I love you, but I can't live in Canada. Can't do it. Don't want to do it. It's not exciting. It's not the future I want. She was more quiet than usual and then started sobbing on the phone and told me she feared that our relationship was going to end sooner or later because she feared that we both weren't going to budge in the moving situation. Well, at the end of the day, he's the one with the penis. He's the man. And if he's going to be the leader of the household, of their family, and she may be a stay-at-home mom at some point to raise their babies, he's got to show that he's man enough to lose it all in order to follow his purpose and mission. A man does what he must, even if it means he loses his relationship. The woman submits to the man, not the other way around. I'm sure that pisses off a lot of feminists, but I don't fucking care. They get pissed off because they've never had a real man in their lives. She said everything was amazing in this relationship, but she just could not up and leave for me, and she told me that she wanted to break up. Babe, I love you, but don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. You'll be back. She'll be back. That's the attitude you gotta have. Guys like us don't come along too often. 3% man are pretty rare. I know where I went wrong, and I didn't make her feel safe and comfortable and basically changed the subject every time she wanted to have a serious conversation. There was sadness on both sides. She was crying, saying how much she loved me, and if only I moved to Canada, we could keep this relationship going, so therefore it's all your fault if we break up. Man does what he must. That's why men go off to war. And many times they don't come back, or they don't come back with all their pieces. And even though I didn't want the relationship to end, I knew my purpose and my internal feelings of Canada. Note, I have a lot of Canadian friends. I do not hate you guys. It's just your government is a liberal dictatorship right now. I agree. Fuck the communists. So I told her, I love you. I don't want this to end, but I don't want to be a bartender for 3 years and hate myself for not pursuing my purpose. Bingo. Very nice. Nicely put. If you think this is the best thing for you, I want what's best for you. I love you, and I want your happiness most importantly. If you love somebody, you want them to be happy even if it's not with you. And she's saying, I'm going to choose my career over you and babies. Let's see how this works out. If you want to break up because you do not want to move here, I'll understand and I'll respect your decision to end this relationship. She sobbed and cried, and it was gut-wrenching. Oh, I know it was, dude. She told me I was the best boyfriend, and she wanted me to know I was one of a kind. But in the end, she said it was best for both of us if we split. Okay, babe. she'll be back. Remember that video I did? She'll be back. And if she's not, hey, well then you know. You know where you stand. The old breakup pain came back tenfold, but for some reason I was more prepared than last time. Well, you obviously have the coach in your corner. And quite frankly, I always stack the deck of cards in your favor. You're welcome. This little gem right here. Even if you don't believe, if you think I'm full of shit, just apply what I teach. You see that it works for you. I was sick to my stomach, and for a couple of days I could barely work without thinking of her, but I knew at the end of the day, I knew she loved me, and I loved her, and I had to love in such a way that the other person feels free. Yes. Yes. So I didn't contact her and continued to work feeling absolutely like shit. Haha. Unlike the toxic red pill community, yes, very toxic, I respected her and didn't label her with any hateful terms or blamed modern women. Oh, by the way, Jennifer and I have filmed a series on the rational male. We're going to talk about a lot of topics in there, and we're going to talk about Rollo Tomasi. Might be some fireworks. Might be some carpet bombing, some flamethrowers. Weakness will not be tolerated. I understood where she was coming from and let her go with love. Is that so hard, guys? Man does what he must. Letting go and understanding it was just not meant to be with that girl and not calling her awful names. It's just a man, unperturbable man doing what he must. Even though it tears him up inside, he's got to do what he must. This email is already so long, so I'll cut half the message she sent me one night. Drum roll, please. My handsome man, I'm sorry too that this happened to us. I truly didn't want to do this and didn't wake up this morning thinking this would happen at the end of the day. You were the perfect man, gentleman, and boyfriend to me. Always. You taught me what a good relationship is like and how a good man should treat his girl and how women should be there for her boyfriend. You always made me laugh and relax when I was stressed. He was unperturbable. You knew how to make everything feel lighter and always made me feel sexy when I knew I looked not so sexy. You showed me what true devotion looks like. You were one of a kind, the best man I have met, and I wish there was less obstacles in front of us. I will miss you, and I will always love you. I wrote back some things, but I did keep it playful and sexual in the end of the message, saying, P.S. If you ever want your face mushed in a pillow, you can grab a flight to see me. Always leave the door open. He's not saying get lost, he's just saying, babe, come home whenever you're ready. Home is where I am. She instantly replied, haha, I am looking on Google Flights right now. Of course she is. See how that works? See how that melts? Melts the heart of heart. Then something happened without pleading or logically explaining for her to stay with me. A few days later, I got a call from her saying she made a huge mistake. Remember what I said? She'll be back. And did not want to lose me and did not care about her career and will be willing to start a new one for me. Nice. She asked if it was too late to get me back. And of course I accepted but gave her a humorous jab saying, well, I better tell the other girls to get back in line, but you're going to have to earn me back. She replied, oh, I have plenty of ways to earn you back, plus more to cement it with a smiley face. Huh. Imagine that. It's as predictable as the sun coming up in the east and setting in the west. She is now in the process of leaving her job and applying to work in the U.S. and move in with me. I'm shocked, I tell you. This is only happening because he acted like a fucking man. He didn't buy any of that bullshit toxicity from the toxic part of the red pill community, which is rife with fucking beta male, insurrectionists, slimy, wormy ass fucking people. Ugh. But I digress. I do not know what is going to happen in the future between me and her, but she has been more loving and feminine than ever with me. Yeah, because you're the man. You're the man. You're the man. He's a dangerous but kind man because he's also an MMA fighter who's retired now. Her friends, even though I believe they tried to convince her to not move, are now approving of the move and saying, well, he's an amazing man. Yes, because he's a man. A man. And so they support her moving for a man. I want this story shared because this is so important. The reason to my success is not because she came back, is because I put the work in and became a 3% man. Regardless if she came back or not, I have become a different man entirely, where women and men notice. Even her friends change their minds. But then again, they're women, and it's a woman's prerogative to change their mind. I owe it. We did, Gracie, Jennifer, and I did a video on that. It's pretty funny. I owe it all to Corey Wayne. I have become the better me, following my purpose and having a loving girlfriend come and complement my life. Yes. I will still make mistakes, but I can now look back and realize by myself where I went wrong and not search up Coach Corey Wayne newsletters to solve my issues. You have graduated, Padawan, and you must pass on what you have learned to all the men in your community. I have become independent like Corey Wayne always wanted, when we are all self-sufficient. You want success, grind it out and listen or read the damn book 10 to 15 times and implement it, and sooner or later you will see the results. I always respect and be eternally grateful to you, Coach, for your teaching, molded me to who I am today, a motherfucking man. P.S. You must love in such a way that the other person feels free. Internalize that, y'all. I left some pictures of us. Well, they're great pictures, but I'm not going to share them because I've got to protect the identity of the innocent. And so if you haven't read 3% Man, subscribe to the email newsletter at understandingrelationships.com. You can read that. Plus, you can read my second book, Mastering Yourself, a book of self-reliance. And the third book, Quotes, Ruminations, and Contemplations, which is available everywhere. And so what I do in Quotes, Ruminations, and Contemplations, I basically take 250 random quotes from different articles I've done over the years. I read them, and then I kind of freestyle on whatever comes to mind, or examples, or stories. And you guys can go check out the reviews. The reviews are amazing, and so I appreciate all the kind words everybody's put on that. But it's available in audio, paperback, hardcover, digital format. And so if you'd like to do a phone session with me personally, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.